All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, how to be a leader in your marriage. So this is a common, concern and question for guys. We want to be leaders, especially as Christian guys. We know that, we're called to a leadership position in the world and in our marriage and to our kids and all of that. So I want to talk about that today. What does that look like and some common mistakes we can fall into. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from this week from guys in my program, my Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Okay, big changes happen, guys, big changes. So, wives are changing their minds about divorce, going from, yeah, we're for sure getting into divorce to, hey, let's make this work. Okay, that's happening, right? Wives literally saying wow to their husband's changes, being impressed with those changes, being more connected to God and sharing God's word with people, reconnecting with that sense of spirituality that maybe they had lost because they had forgotten what it meant to be a real leader in their marriage. Be able to have difficult conversations that maybe they'd avoided and getting to win-wins. Okay, that's being a leader. Having increased communication and physical touch. Okay, when we step up as leaders, that's stronger and it's more attractive than some of the problematic things that we do. Guys are feeling increased warmth from their wife, again, by stepping into this leadership role. Okay, and wives are starting to pursue their own growth after watching their husbands commit to pursuing their growth. This is what happens, and that's what being a leader is. Okay, you commit to doing this. You commit to becoming a better, stronger man, building up your strengths and skills. What often happens is your wife chooses to follow that example. Okay. For us this week, we had a really nice Mother's Day yesterday, and hopefully you guys did something nice for your wives on Mother's Day. And yeah, it was just a good day, relaxing day. We were able to do some nice things for her, and she felt appreciated. So, again, what are you trying to do now? Okay, so a lot of guys that I work with kind of fluctuate between two things. So we're going to talk about kind of the first category guys try to fall into is as far as quote unquote being a leader, or maybe they even recognize hey, I'm not really being a leader. And this is guys that tend to try to let their wife take more of the lead. This is what happens when you take the approach of happy wife, happy life. If your constant desire is to make your wife happy, okay, you kind of think you're being a leader, but really it's not. Okay, and what it leads to is you walking on eggshells a lot, trying not to make her upset. Okay, so when it comes to things like money, you might just let her spend whatever she wants and never talk about it because you don't want to upset her. When it comes to sex, okay, you don't really bring it up with her because she doesn't like talking about it. Okay, with in-laws, okay, you spend more time with her in-laws than yours, and you're not really okay with that, but you don't bring it up with her because you don't want to upset her. All right, with parenting, maybe you do more than you think is your fair share, but you don't bring that up with her. Or with religion, you kind of shut down your religion. One of the gentlemen, that felt more connected with God, he realized he was doing that. He was kind of toning down his spirituality to try to make his wife happy. With housework, maybe you're doing more than your share, but you won't bring it up with her because, again, you're worried about her response. With free time, you just kind of shut down your free time with people. You're not spending time with them because you want to, quote unquote, be home more with your wife. But yeah, then you just kind of lose yourself. And look, this was me. I fell more on this side for the most part for lots of years in my marriage. So asking her permission to do things. Okay. So you want to go hang with friends, like, oh, hey, honey, do you mind? Can I go do that, please? That's not being a leader. Never telling her no. One of the gentlemen I've been working with says he literally never told his wife no in their entire marriage. I think that's not that uncommon. Again, it's this happy wife, happy life mindset, right? If we say no, that's going to make her unhappy, so we can't do that. So, in other words, you're stifling yourself to try to make her happy. Okay, you're not really even there in the marriage. Your wife kind of dictates what you do, what you say, what you don't say, what you don't do. Her emotions run everything. And so, look, the other part of this is when you are this quote unquote great husband doing everything that she wants, you kind of feel good about yourself. And a lot of people, even outside the marriage, might recognize you and say, man, good job. And that's a big part of why you're doing it. So you can feel good about yourself. There's also this element of, okay, if I do this enough, then she should give me attention, appreciation, affection, and sex back. And a lot of times at the beginning of a marriage, she will, for being this quote unquote nice guy. But eventually she doesn't really like that. It's not really attractive because it's not strong. It's not really being a leader. Okay. And it's also manipulative and needy. Okay. All of that. Other guys will say things like, I just need to let you, and you need to let me be the leader. Okay. But if you're saying you need to let me be the leader, that automatically means you're not being a leader. Okay. Because a leader doesn't tell other people to let him lead them. A leader takes the lead and invites other people to follow. So on this side of it, you're kind of too soft or you're too nice. Okay. You're kind of in a one down position. So a lot of guys will take this approach in marriage, and they'll kind of recognize, yeah, I'm really not being much of a leader when they step into this mindset. They feel like they're trying to do a good thing by quote unquote being nice all the time, but this is what happens, right? You start getting resentful. You're not very attracted to your wife. You're needy, and really you're being manipulated by doing it. Okay. So after a while, a lot of guys get tired of doing this. Okay, and they'll start to get passive aggressive. Okay. So they'll stop helping around the house. Like, okay, well, I'm doing so much with the kids. You won't have sex with them. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm not going to take the kids to school anymore. You have to do that. I'm not going to clean the bathroom anymore. You need to do that. They'll freeze her out, just like stop talking to her altogether, kind of shut her out emotionally. Or they'll get more aggressive, get angry with her, yell at her, tell her, you do so much for her. Why can't you do this for you? That kind of thing. Or they'll just escape. They'll escape into pornography or connecting with other women, or a more quote unquote healthy escape, like being at work a lot, or um, you know exercise or reading a lot, and just kind of like disconnecting from the marriage. And then their wife's like, why don't you connect, right? Why aren't you there? You seem so unavailable. And yeah, this is just kind of like a resignation. um, but really there's a passive aggressive tone to this, right? It's like, I've tried to make you happy for so long, I'm just going to stop trying, right? And you have to deal with it now. So it's immature, right? It's unattractive. We have teenagers right now. This is a teenage move, right? To well, fine, yeah, you won't let me do that, then I'm not going to clean my room anymore. It's immature. Okay, it's unattractive. And all this, ties into that mosquito cycle that we talk about here. It's not being a leader. Okay. This side of it, it's being, too hard or being a jerk. Okay. You're this punishment or payback kind of mindset that you have. Well, fine. You're not going to do that for me. I'm not going to do this for you. Fine. Right. That's sadistic. It's mean. It's one up. It's superior. Okay. So this all comes from this mosquito cycle. I'm, like I've told you, I'm writing the book. I'm excited to get it out there. We're getting closer. um, but you do these nice things for your wife, right? You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're doing things around the house, all of that, right? And what you're expecting back is attention, appreciation, affection, and sex. And why are you wanting that? So you can feel good about who you are, right? So you can feel like you're being a good husband. Okay? And hopefully that she'll be happy and reward you with attention, appreciation, affection, and sex. Eventually, you start getting tired of doing that. You get tired of kind of saying yes to everything she wants and no to everything you want. All right. You start getting frustrated. You just get worn down by that. Also, you're like, man, I'm doing all this. Other people recognize it, but my wife doesn't. And yeah, you start getting frustrated. Then eventually you explode at her. You get mad. You go into that superior thinking. You get passive aggressive. You kind of try to punish her for never doing anything for you. Okay. Or you escape, like we talked about. And then you feel guilty after. And you go back to doing those nice things for her again. So it's just this cycle that repeats over and over again. But you can break out of it. That's the good news. So we're talking about being a leader, right? The mosquito cycle, it's not a leader, it's needy, it's manipulative, it's weak, it's waiting on her, it's trying to make her happy all the time, or getting mad when she's not doing what you want. Okay, so what does a leader do? So a leader, he sets the path and then he invites other people to follow. So if you want to be a leader in your marriage, you need to know what you're doing, okay, and be doing that, and then invite your wife to follow you. We're going to talk about what that looks like, but it's really this balance, of being strong and kind. When I was putting this together, I was thinking of the three bears, right? It's Goldilocks and the three bears. So she goes to these beds, and she lays down on the first one, and it's too hard, right? So that's that one up dictators, I'll call it sometimes. You need to do this right now, and you need to do it my way, or again, getting passive aggressive, freezing her out, all that. That's too hard, right? And then there's too soft. oh yeah, honey, anything you want, let's do it, right? Um, uh, Never speaking up for yourself, that's too soft. So the leader, he's just right. He has this balance of being both strong, standing up for himself, and being kind, being respectful and understanding of his wife. He does both. It's not one or the other. A lot of guys will create this false idea in their mind that, well, I can either be nice to my wife or I can be strong, but it's not. Like, you can be strong and nice. You can be strong and kind. Okay? It's this balance of loving your wife and loving yourself, both. Okay. To me, marriage is the best place to practice the second great commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor equally to yourself. So this is a guy who manages his own thoughts and feelings and does not try to manage his wife's thoughts and feelings. This is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest distinctions we work on guys understanding in the program, that you're not in charge of making your wife happy. She's in charge of that. What you are in charge of is behaving in a way that you can be proud of, treating her how you believe is the best way to treat her. Okay, that's what you're responsible for. So this is a man who seeks his own joy and happiness and fulfillment in life. He's going for that, right? He knows the type of man he wants to be, and he's going for that. That's being a leader. He also does not take responsibility for his wife's emotions. He doesn't make that his job to make her happy. Okay? And we have to do some rewiring of your brain, because a lot of us have learned, oh, being a good husband, that means making my wife happy. But it's not possible. She's in charge of her own emotions. It's manipulative. It's one up, acting like she can't manage her own emotions, so we have to do it for her. Okay, we've got to step out of that. Okay. So again, he doesn't take responsibility for his wife's emotions, but also he treats his wife well. He treats his wife kindly. He treats his wife respectfully. Not because he wants her to, quote unquote, be happy or manage her emotions, but because that's the type of man that he wants to be. Okay, he sits down and he thinks to himself, okay, what kind of husband do I want to be? Do I want to treat my wife like a jerk? No. Do I want to be kind to my wife? Yes. That's who I want to be as a man. There's a guy who says no to his wife sometimes. Look, if you will watch a romantic comedy, just put yourself through it. Just watch it. What you'll find is the guy that the woman is attracted to 100% of the time. This is a guy who is kind of a challenge to her, who says no to her, kind of teases her. He shows that, look, he's not going to be pushed around by this girl. He's not just going to bend over backwards and do everything she wants. Okay, he's going to stand up for himself, and he's also going to treat her in a kind way. That is what women are looking for. By the way, guys, it just feels a lot better to be the man that you want to be, treat her well, and also respect yourself. Say no sometimes. Get to win-wins. Don't just do everything that she wants, but also don't say, I don't care what you think. I'm doing what I want. Okay, that guy also is not attractive. Okay, it's the guy who stands up for himself and respects his wife. Okay, this is a man who works towards win-wins that respect both people's opinions. So with money, sex, in-laws, parenting, religion, housework, time, you work towards things that you both feel good about. So this is the just right in that three bears. It's not too hard. It's not too soft. It's just right. It's comfortable. It feels good. Okay? That balance of strong and kind, both. You're treating each other as equal, not as one up or one down, but we're equal in this marriage. Again, this is that great commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor, your wife, equally to yourself, not more and not less. The other thing that happens, guys, is when you commit to making these adjustments, right? When you say, I have been too soft, or I have been too hard, or I'm alternating between these two in that mosquito cycle. I really need to get a handle on this. I need to step into my self-worth. I need to manage my emotions. I need to, have these difficult conversations. When you do this, a lot of times you will inspire your wife to change as well. It happens to guys over and over in the program. And that's called leadership. When you commit to being who you want to be, regardless of her decision, when you decide to improve yourself, no matter what she's up to, that's leadership. Okay. And you can invite her to follow. You can say, hey, these are some things I'm learning. I'd like to share some with you too. Guys are doing that in the program. Just this week, guys are sharing that kind of thing. Their wife's stepping into this. So what do you need to do this? What do you need to really be the leader in your marriage? Find this balance of not too soft, not too hard, but just right. Okay, so it starts with developing a really strong sense of self-worth, self-esteem, and a clear mission for yourself. Okay, you need clarity on who you want to be as a man, husband, and father. You got to get clear on that. So do you want to be a guy who's too soft? Do you want to be a guy who's too hard? Or do you want to be a guy that is just right, that has that's both strong and kind? It's not overly kind and not overly, well, kind is probably the wrong word. Overly nice, meaning he kind of rejects himself in favor of other people. Not overly strong, where he doesn't care about other people, but he cares about himself and others. Okay, so if that's who you want to be, great. Get clear on that and start living towards it. Also, that you feel good about yourself. You don't need those compliments from her, that attention, appreciation, affection from her, because you feel good about how you're acting. Okay? You need the ability to manage your own thoughts and emotions. Most guys don't have this. They don't have a clear system for doing this. And that's what we teach. And you can practice every single day in Strong Men, Strong Marriages in the program. Every single day, you're practicing this and getting good at managing your thoughts and emotions. You need practice with healthy boundaries. Okay? Being able to let your wife be responsible for her emotions and you be responsible for yours. Okay? You're not going to act like every emotion she has is your fault anymore. You're going to understand where that comes from. And that comes from you learning what creates your thoughts and emotions, which you learn again every day in the program. You need communication skills to be able to get to win-wins, express yourself well, listen to her well, work towards those win-win agreements. You need that skill. You need practice doing that. You need the ability to bring fun and flirting to the marriage again, to bring sex and passion into the marriage in a way that's attractive and fun. Okay, so you build up that trust, you build up that communication, you build up that intimacy, and now you got a great marriage. So you can come, you can learn all of this, learn how to do all of this in our Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Okay. So the way you join, you visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com and you fill out an application. Again, if you missed the chance to join at the end of April, you missed it. Okay, you're going to have to wait until July. But if you're just hearing about the podcast now or things like that, just come visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com, fill out an application. We'll get you the best next steps. So come visit us, strongmenstrongmarriages.com, or visit the link in the show notes, fill out an application, and we will see you there. All right, men, stay strong, be that leader, step into who you want to be. Stay strong. We'll see you next episode.